Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Kenyan video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the starting setup to my apparel production company that we're going to be building together. Expect to see tons and tons of videos on this later down the line. I'm hoping to do it in a way that's completely different than anyone else has ever done. I'm going to try and be as unique as possible, and I'm going to try and invent new things, new technology, I don't know, just as much as we possibly can to keep, I guess, the day-to-day as interesting as possible. Producing apparel is pretty much ingrained into my life at this point. It's been something that I've been doing for so long to the point where it's more of a passion, even though it still produces money. I absolutely have to make sure that it stays entertaining or keeps me engaged on a day-to-day level, and it's not just super boring, and that it's not just some super boring, super repetitive job. So I guess this is my attempt at trying to keep apparel production as interesting as possible, hopefully for you guys as well. So right now we are in my garage, which I don't even have a big garage, but you could see the windows are even bordered up with cardboard right there because the sun points directly in my eye if we don't have that. And it's the afternoon time, so it's like in the perfect spot to be pointing in my eye. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a full tour, even though there's not much to see because it's literally a 200 square foot building. And heads up, it is just an absolute mess right now. I've been working on so many different projects to the point where cleaning up is almost inefficient for this moment in time. It's better just to move on to the next project and then set a day or time throughout the week to clean everything up at once. That way I can get more stuff done. So try not to mind the mess as much as possible. I'm maxing out on room in here. If you guys can't already tell, everything there's hardly any floor space anymore. But we do have all of the core machinery we need to actually start scaling and start growing brands and also start making apparel for people. I'm pretty sure my focus is gonna be on working on the brands. If we do get some really big custom orders, I'll definitely have to partner up with a buddy of mine who has an actual shop. He has embroidery machines that are way bigger than that. He has automated screen printing presses, etc. Doing that stuff manually is, I guess, just more work than the revenue that it generates. So when it comes to manual stuff, we'll probably be doing some of the screen printing for our brand specifically by hand, but majority of it we'll be doing with other people. All right, so I'm gonna try and go in order. Keep in mind my lighting isn't the best in here, so it might go a little dark because we're gonna go into this corner right now. I'll show you guys everything on that side. I'll just go from that side to that side, and then I'll flip you guys around and then show you guys the even bigger mess we have behind me. Actually, this side's a lot more interesting, so I'll start with it first. That way people don't drop off. DTG printer. This is an Epson F2100 DTG printer. This is actually my second one. First one I got when they were fairly new. This one I just picked up about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's probably been a little longer than that. This isn't even the newest one you can get right now. There's a newer one. And then there's also like direct to film is what it's called, which I don't really like too much. I don't like the texture of that. And then I don't like that you can't film the process of the garment being made. But that's a whole nother thing that I don't even want to get into right now. These, when they were brand new, used to cost like $20,000 to $25,000. And now they're extremely cheap because people are selling them. People would rather have the newer technology. This one I picked up for $2,500. It functions. There's a few issues with it, but it works right now. And I actually need to turn it on because it needs to go through a cleaning. And then moving on to the next piece of equipment right here. This is a Tajima embroidery machine. This is their brand new model, the Tajima TMEZ. They actually gave it to me to start a bunch of brands with. If you guys watched my other video on starting a robotics company, we're actually turning this thing into an artificial intelligent character. That's why we have the skull right here. This thing's name is Stitch Beast. And then we're testing out probably about 20 to 30 different characters. And that's also why we have the TV right there. Because the character uses the TV to interact, showcase things, play video games, etc. And then also down here on the floor, right under the table, which the TV's on, there's a computer that powers the entire thing. And even over here, on this side, behind the screen right here, there's the control panel. I'll try and get over. Maybe you guys can see that. That's the control panel to power all of the Let me straighten this out really quick. That's the control panel to actually power all of the physical electronics that he has on him. I'm not gonna start that up right now, but if you guys check out my channel, there are videos of that ready to go. All right, so coming over to this side, we have a Epson it's an Epson 8550. That's what this thing's called. It's kind of buried behind a bunch of stuff. Let me give you guys a closer shot. Sorry about all the stuff that's over there. I know you can't really see the printer, but that's I guess it's a mini poster printer. It doesn't print very large scale. It only prints up to 13 by 19, which is a lot better or a lot bigger than a conventional printer. But it prints extremely high quality posters and banners and stuff. So very useful. I use this thing for everything. The trading cards are getting printed with this thing. All the badges are getting printed with this thing. All of the posters, the apparel registry posters are getting printed with that thing. I'm hopefully gonna get a much larger scale printer that can print like, I don't know, 36 inches wide or something like that. That would be amazing. This thing can also print stickers. I don't have a vinyl cutter, so I'm not really printing those right now, but later down the line, maybe we'll check that out. Above the printer, we have a little custom shelf that's held up by 2 computers. We have our main Anycube 3D printer, which we got on OfferUp. Shout out to, I think it's a Calvary Chapel in like Lake Forest or something. The pastor's kid sold me that. And then we also have one right here. This one we actually found right next to a trash can. It turns on, I'm pretty sure it works fine. I just have to change out the nozzle, but we mainly just use this one for stuff. I haven't really done any 3D printing specific videos, not yet. I have to learn how to design stuff on the software for those things, and I'm not very good at it. And I don't really have much time to dedicate to learning the software just because I've been spending so much time coding. But I do have a lot of stuff planned for that stuff. I'm gonna try and team up with a buddy of mine and knock it all out. All right, so I'm gonna spin you guys around, and actually before I do that, that shelf is just a supply shelf. All the screen printing ink is on that shelf. All the embroidery equipment is a little bit lower on that shelf. We have some robotic supply inside those little bins, storage bins right there, some tools, and just a bunch of random things that are useful and that need a place for when I need them. Like, I'll just know exactly where they are. Nothing special there. Hat rack is right there. All of the blank hats get stored on that shelf right there. And now I'm gonna turn you guys over to the absolute disaster of a screen printing setup that I have right now. And keep in mind, it just needs to be cleaned. It'll only take probably like 25-30 minutes to clean it. I just haven't had it on my agenda to do because I haven't used that thing in quite a bit. But this is the screen printing press. It's a 6-color, 6-station printing press. A buddy of mine gave me this. His name is Byron. And there's also a exposure unit. If you guys know what that is, it's how you make the screens, sitting over there on the shelf. You won't be able to see it because it's behind a bunch of stuff, but it's there. And then another buddy gave me a conveyor dryer that he had sitting in his garage. It's super low, so you're not gonna be able to see it in this. I actually plan on doing more screen printing videos in the near future here. This thing does make shirts, but screen printing or screen printed t-shirts last a lot longer on the actual shirt themselves than this thing. There's also a bit more to the shop, which I can't really show because I have a large whiteboard that's filled with a bunch of secrets that I can't have getting out there yet. Otherwise, I'd show you guys that side. But I have a giant arts and craft table that's dedicated just for, I guess, random projects that I need room for. Anything related to sculpting, I'll do on that table. We got the sewing machine set up right there, plaster molds right there, and yeah, just a million other things. Besides that, there's a makeshift dark room that's actually just a cardboard box with like a wooden frame that holds my screen printing screens to keep them dark. If you guys know anything about screen printing, the room has to be pitch black until you burn the screens. I won't go too far in depth on that. And yeah, that pretty much sums up the starting garage shop. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Everything has to start somewhere, and this is where the apparel production shop is starting. I think it's gonna be extremely valuable to start looking into building custom robots for screen printing for apparel production in general. I think everything will be automated. Like, I don't think we're gonna need people to actually place the shirt onto the machines or place the hats onto the embroidery machines. I think the second that a blank hat arrives at the production facility, it's just gonna get put on some type of conveyor machine that is gonna organize it. And whenever an order comes in, it'll automatically pick the right SKU and then automatically attach it to the machine and get it embroidered or whatever. So yeah, automation is definitely gonna be a top priority just because that saves a lot of money. I also have a bunch of unique decoration features that I plan on adding into the shops. Let's just say the walls won't be boring. You can already see I got a bunch of stuff bolted to the wall behind me. And then I also have a idea for a fully integrated artificial intelligence print shop. So you can quote me on that sometime later down the line. I'm sure you'll see that come up. And just so you guys know, I'm trying to scale the production into multiple locations spread out around the US. I'm definitely not trying to stay just in California, especially because most of the apparel production companies are actually moving out of California because the strict laws that we have here on business and the high taxes, super high taxes. So I'm definitely looking towards Phoenix, Arizona, towards Nevada, a bunch of other places. And then that way I also have kind of like a distribution grid. And then we could maybe scale into more products as well, not just t-shirts and apparel and stuff. Anyway, that sums up this entire video. I don't think I have much more to show you. I'm pretty sure I got everything that I was thinking about. I guess I didn't show you the hat wall. There's a bunch of hats bolted directly on the wall, but you guys don't need to see that. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. My name is Kenyon. This is the beginning of T-Shirt Tube and probably a bunch of other random companies as well. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.